Right now, we're going to find out what it's like at the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office, as our 8:30 High Beam this morning is featuring Sergeant Ryan Hamilton. Sergeant Hamilton, it's a pleasure to have you in here. A privilege, so we appreciate that. So how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. You didn't fly in on a drone or anything, did you?
No, ours won't carry me. So
Okay.
it's a little too small for that.
Well, people probably wonder why I would say something like that. Drones are a part of policing now, and you have to get trained. So you have been trained to do what with drones?
Yeah, I am a licensed drone pilot through the FAA. Our office has 3 licensed pilots. I happen to be one of them. We took about a week's long worth of training, a few days worth of classroom, and then, of course, flying the drones in the field. We took that at our office, and a lot of book work is very similar to actual coursework that you would have to take for a regular pilot's license, except they add in some of the drone-specific questions and related topics. So, we took about a week's worth of training. I had zero experience in flying drones before that. I think most of us had zero experience.
Yeah.
But then once we got into it, actually our drone is fairly easy to fly, but it has a ton of technology, probably more technology than I'm even able to use.
Yeah.
But our drone's pretty heavy duty.
So with that in mind, what are some of the uses that the Sheriff's Office and you put the drones to?
Yeah, we use it for a lot of things, primarily search and rescue, elderly folks who wander off, or runaway juveniles, missing juveniles, young kids who stray away from home and mom and dad take their eye off them for just a few seconds, a couple minutes. And the kids just disappear. And we've used it to locate runaways as well, fleeing suspects, that sort of thing.
I can imagine that might be handy along the streams, the Tuscarawas River in particular, because rather than getting a boat and heading out that way, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And our drone has thermal capabilities, so when the foliage is off the trees, we can see movements through the woods very well, almost like it's daylight out.
Yeah.
You just see the body heat coming off of the source, and we investigate those source identifications and see if it's the person we're looking for. So
obviously it has a couple of different cameras, and I guess we'll just keep expanding with the use of this then, right?
Oh, yeah. And as the technology advances, I'm sure our drone now is a few years old, but it's still very capable of doing everything we need it to do. But I'm sure as technology advances that, the sky would be the limit for those things. So
I would imagine so.
Literally.
You also had some training. See, I'm all interested in what you're trained to do.
Sure.
With cell phones and how to extract information from them?
Yes. So again, with technology advancing, everybody's got their cell phones. So cell phones can be a critical piece of evidence in a criminal investigation. So we recently, myself and another detective, Detective Cole Morris, went to Vienna, Virginia last year for some cell phone data extraction training for some hardware that we purchased last year called Celebrate. And if we have a phone as evidence, we can extract data from those phones to help us in criminal cases.
I mean, let's be honest, we call them cell phones. They're little computers that can make a phone call, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to be a little bit IT savvy there.
A little. Yeah, it takes a little bit. You try to keep up with technology, but it's advancing so fast that, it's hard. You really got to keep up on the trainings.
It is, yeah, leaps and bounds. So how long have you been on the force then?
I've been with the Sheriff's Office for a little over 13 years now. Back in 2008, I graduated from the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy. I spent about 6 months part-time with Strasburg Police Department, as well as the Muskingum Watershed as a seasonal ranger. And then after that, I got hired by the Sheriff's Office in the fall part-time. And then in January of 2009, received my full-time commission with the Sheriff's Office.
That's excellent. So you really didn't have to leave home too much since you are a Tuscarawas County native, right?
Correct, yes.
That's got to be a good feeling.
Yep, I grew up just outside of Mineral City, in Mineral City when I was a very young lad, and then moved to just outside of Mineral City, and currently...
Suburbs?
Yes, and then currently reside in Dover.
Well, the other thing that you're involved with the Sheriff's Office is crime scene. Now, everybody thinks they know what that's about because of television, but what does that entail for you as an actual person who goes to crime scenes?
Yes. Well, I deal with everything crime scene related from start to finish. A lot of documentation of the crime scenes, photography, sketching, things like that. Identifying evidence, collecting it the proper way so that it doesn't get contaminated, and then preserving it for like DNA analysis, fingerprint development, and things like that, and then making sure it gets logged and documented correctly so that we can enter it into the evidence room, and then be able to find it later for courtroom purposes and testimony purposes and things like that. So I'm really basically in charge of the evidence from start to finish. Even if I'm not on scene, the deputies will call me for advice on how to collect or what they should collect if they're not quite sure what they're looking at the point, or I can respond out at any time, 24/7, if the situation justifies that.
Yeah, well, that's so important. If it gets damaged, it's no good anymore, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Are you the guy that puts the yellow tape around the thing?
So usually if I'm not there at the beginning of the scene, if I'm not working, the deputies will do that. But sometimes I do.
Seems like a big job, you know.
Yeah,
something you want to do.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I wouldn't change that career shift at all.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome.
I wouldn't say it's a fun job, but it's important and interesting. Then I'm sure.
Yes, it is a very neat job. I just hate the fact that somebody has to be victimized in order for me to really get in and do my job.
Yeah.
So
tell me a little bit about the force, the guys you're working with now, and ladies. We feel like here that things are good with the sheriff's department, and we feel pretty safe. Is it a good working environment for you?
Yes, it is. Yes, I'm very proud to work for the sheriff's office. I feel that we've been going in the right direction with the sheriff's office for many years. We've had a very good foundation. I think we're hiring a lot of new deputies. We've got a lot of young deputies right now, but I do feel they have a lot of potential. I'm currently working with in the detective bureau. I feel like we have a very strong detective bureau. We bond very well. We accent each other very well and work as a team. We bounce our ideas off each other in cases, and it helps out a lot. So I think overall at the sheriff's office, we've got a very good foundation of success ahead of us.
Yeah, that experience, you guys can each time a little bit more, and that's better for next time. We're allowed to talk about Orvis since he's not here, but good leader, good guy to work for.
Yes. Sheriff Campbell is a very good leader. He's very good for the community, and also just a good down-to-earth guy. So
seems like it.
Yeah. Sure.
Hey, well, Ryan, thanks for being here this morning. Appreciate it. Are we going to see the drone over Johnson Drive here anytime soon? Maybe?
Hopefully not, but
that's true.
Hopefully you don't see it, or I didn't do a very good job. So.
All right. Well, if you take it on a joyride, just spin it around here, okay?
Sure will. Absolutely.
Hey, thanks again for coming in. Best of luck to you. I hope you don't stay too busy at the crime scene.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks. That is Sergeant Ryan Hamilton of the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office. Our guest this morning here on the BT Morning Show's 830 High Beam.